Coach E for Precision Movement here, and today I'm going to take you through a follow-along video of another one of our more popular videos here on YouTube called Your Psoas Isn't Just Tight, It's Weak. And in this routine, we're going to go through some exercises that counter the common narrative when people complain of tightness or achiness in their hip flexor area, their psoas muscle, where they're recommended to perform your standard static stretching, like your half kneeling lunge stretch. In this routine, I'm going to walk you through some exercises that will get that range of motion, that hip extension where you're lengthening the psoas, but we're going to more importantly build strength through the full range of motion. And after doing this routine, I'm sure you'll feel the benefits and you'll feel that release that you've been looking for so long. If you want to learn the background and the science and the why behind the what, go check out the previous video that we have here on YouTube. There'll be a link up here or down in the description below. And then you could follow along with the exercises and the techniques I show you there at a slower pace. And after you've determined this is a routine that you want to follow, you can watch this video for a follow-along style workout where I'll guide you through and you'll really get to feel the timing and the pace to do the exercises. Again, this is a new format we're testing here on YouTube, so let us know what you think in the comments down below after you've tried it out. And if you like our videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Now let's get to the routine. We're starting off with active self-myofascial release of the iliopsoas for 1 minute on each side. You're going to place the ball in different areas of the hip flexor region, using a weight to push the ball down and apply pressure. So we start off, put the ball in an area on the hip flexor, bend the hip and knee, and put the weight down and straighten the leg out. And then you take the ball off, place it in a slightly different area, and repeat. You're trying to relax as much as possible as you straighten the leg out to the floor. This will help to break up any tension and relax the muscle. And it also improves your kinesthetic awareness of that muscle because the pressure brings your mind to it and you develop that mind to muscle connection, which will enhance the effectiveness of the subsequent exercises to come. Keep moving back and forth to different areas. Don't place it on anything that feels odd. For example, blood vessels. There's some blood vessels there. If the ball is on there, you'll feel it. It'll feel really uncomfortable. So just move it away from that area and repeat on a more muscular area. After 1 minute, we switch. So we'll go to the other side and repeat. My weight there is about 15 pounds, but you adjust as feels comfortable for you. You need enough pressure, but not too much where it causes you to tense up because it's painful. Just keep changing the area of the ball, put the pressure down, relax, and then extend the legs slowly. Always check in on your tension, even through your neck and your shoulders. Relax those muscles as well, and that helps decrease overall tension in your body. Slowly moving around, working the whole muscle right up into the abdominals, up high, and down into the upper thigh. Breathing naturally, staying relaxed, moving slowly. Next, we're going to the standing glute contraction. So you put your equipment away and then stand up in good posture. Make sure your feet are pointing straight ahead. You're in good relaxed posture, nice and tall. And starting from the ground up, think of activating the feet, the intrinsic foot muscles. Then we go to the pelvic floor. Then we ramp up the glute activation. And once you get to a strong glute activation, make sure you're internally rotating the hips a little bit, just so that they don't externally rotate. You want to maintain that alignment. At the end of 10 seconds, gradually ramp it down, and then you repeat, starting from the ground up. Feet, pelvic floor, and then glutes. With that slight internal rotation, you can tap on the glutes to make sure they're activated, and you're squeezing them strong. You're breathing naturally, maintaining good posture. Ramp it down, and then you repeat. Feet, floor, glutes. With the internal rotation, hold for 10 seconds, strong contraction. You'll feel all the hip muscles activate. Keep good posture, relax shoulders and neck. Keep breathing naturally and ramp it down. And last one, start with your feet, move up to your floor and then your glutes, and activate strong, very strong contraction, holding while you're breathing naturally in good posture. And then you relax it out. And we're moving on to the standing slumpy psoas. So find a wall, step your feet back slightly from the wall so you're leaning into the wall, and you're flexing the hip so you bring your knee up as you're getting into good posture. Hold for 5 seconds and lower down slowly. And you start off in slumpy posture and straighten up as you lift the knee, and keep trying to drive the knee to the sky for those 5 seconds to really activate the iliopsoas muscle. Starting in slumpy and flexing the hip, getting into good posture, staying tall, breathing naturally. You can bring your knee out to the side a little bit to decrease outer hip and TFL muscle activation if that's a problem for you. Key here is to stand slumpy and make sure your support leg is stable, so you're activating your quads and your glutes on the support leg. Keep the pelvis level so you're not hiking the hip up. Think of dropping your butt cheek on the hip that's flexed to the ground to keep the pelvis level. And also think of sucking the thigh into the pelvis, so horizontally. When your knee is up, you're sucking the thigh horizontally in towards your pelvis. Doing 4 reps per side here, holding for 5 seconds at the top. Really tall posture at the top as you're holding, and then you start slumpy and straighten up and get tall as you flex the hip. This helps you get better activation of your psoas. So that's 4 reps per side there. Shake it out for a second, move around a bit, relax, think about your life, think about what you're grateful for. And for the second set, you could choose to do it body weight only, but I'm just showing you another variation where you can add some weight to it. So you get a little more strength building here. So you just place the weight on your thigh, and it's the same thing. You start slumpy, get up tall, and hold it up there for 5 seconds. Keep the ankle relaxed, lower it down slowly. And for this variation, I just keep this doing the same side. So complete all reps on one side, then switch. So this is rep number 2. Again, trying to get that knee to the sky throughout. You're not just holding it there. You're trying to get deeper. Even though you're not moving anymore at the end range of motion, you're trying to move more. Keep activating that muscle, control it, and start slumpy, flex the hip, squeeze that hip flexor, hold for 5 seconds, ankles relaxed, you're in good posture, and slowly lower down to the ground. Now we're switching sides. Place the weight on the thigh, start slumpy, straighten up as you flex the hip. You can keep the knee out to the side a little bit to bias the iliopsoas muscle. Lower down slowly, start slumpy, straighten up, flex the hip. Make sure you've got a strong support leg, up tall, breathing naturally. Lowering down slowly under control. Slumpy, get tall, flex the hip, activate that iliopsoas hip flexor muscle. Lower down slowly, keeping it on. And last rep, slumpy to tall. Activate the hip flexor, hold for 5, drive that knee to the sky, keep the ankle relaxed, and lower down slowly. And we're done with that exercise. Next, we're moving to the side-lying hip extension ERE technique. For this technique, you don't need any equipment. You just have to move over to your side on the ground. So we're starting with the left hip. The left hip is on the ground. The first thing we're doing is extending the hip. So we're activating the glutes, trying to extend the hip, driving the foot back behind you. We're activating and squeezing the glutes for 10 to 15 seconds. Nice and strong contraction. As hard as we can go. And then you're placing your opposite foot on your knee and driving your knee into the foot, activating the hip flexors. Holding that for 10 to 15 seconds. Make sure you ramp up and down. We're finishing off with hip extension. Again, driving the foot back behind you, activating the glutes, actively stretching the hip flexors. And that's 1 rep. So we're going to flip over and do the same sequence. First is hip extension. So you're bending the knee and driving the foot back behind you, focusing on glute activation. Strong contraction, really squeeze as hard as you can. And then place your opposite foot on your knee and drive the knee into the foot, activating the hip flexors. Squeezing those muscles for 10 to 15 seconds while you're breathing naturally. And finishing off with hip extension again, activating the glutes. Think of sliding the leg behind you, Get those glutes on as hard as they can go. Breathing naturally. And ramp it down, and we'll switch. No rest for this one. Switch over back to the right, to the left side. And hip extension, glute activation. That's your first activation. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds. Poke it, make sure it's on. And then place your foot on your knee and drive your knee into the foot, activating the hip flexors. Holding that for 10 to 15 seconds. And last one, hip extension. Again, activating the glutes, actively stretching the hip flexors. And relax. And we'll flip over. Last side, last rep. Finishing off with the right side. Driving the hip back into extension, activating the glutes, breathing naturally, keeping good alignment. Don't overuse your low back muscles here, just your glutes. And then knee into foot, activating the hip flexors, working the hip flexion movement. And you're finishing off with the range we're trying to get more of, which is hip extension. Activating the glutes, squeezing them, driving that foot back behind you. Relax the ankle, relax the knee. And we are done with the side lying hip extension ERE and moving to the front support hip flexion. Now, if you have a band that you can hook up around your ankle, then use it for some added resistance. Otherwise, you can just do it with body weight only. Get into a push-up position, good alignment, and maintain that alignment as you flex the hip. Give it a good squeeze at the top to work the hip flexors and control on the way back. So we're working the full range of motion of the hip flexors here. Make sure you get to fully flexed to fully extended. Don't chop the range of motion. Go nice and slow and under control, doing 6 repetitions, and then switching sides. So your arms and shoulders might get a little tired here, and that's good. If you need to take a break, take a break. But this is good work, and this is good integration of neutral spine with abdominal activation and a dynamic hip flexor move. So maintain good posture. Don't move the pelvis or the lumbar spine as you perform this exercise. Bring the knee up as far as you can go. Under control on the way up and the way back. So we're working this full range of motion of the hip flexor muscles. Keep the elbows locked out so you're nice and supported. And just switch back and forth. That's your rest, is the time it takes to switch back and forth. If you're just doing body weight, hold it for 2 seconds at the top, squeeze the muscle, and then control it on the way back. So now we're back on the left side. This is set number 2. We're doing 6 repetitions, maintain good posture, keep the chin tucked, nice neutral spine, and the pelvis and lumbar spine don't move. They're stable. Your opposite leg is straight and strong, keeping you supported. Your arms are strong. Breathe naturally, and then switch sides. And this is the last 6 reps of set number 2. Get nice and tall, supported, and go. That's number 1. Flex the hip up, control it on the way back. That's 2. Flex the hip up, keep good posture, and control it on the way back. Fully extended. That's number 4. 2 more. Drive the knee up, control on the way back, and you are finished. Way to go. This routine is best done 2 to 3 times a week for 4 to 6 weeks. And in this video, I've given you the low level of sets and reps to do, and you'll want to progress these over time. So each week you can add a set, maybe a rep, maybe increase the hold time a little bit from 5 to 10 seconds, or even 10 to 15 seconds, and just do something to ensure that you keep progressing. So what do you think of this video? What do you think of this format? Let us know in the comments below. If you like our style and you want to keep moving freely and without pain, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And for your reference, here's the original video linked for you so you can get the background and science behind this routine. And if you've got any hip pain in the psoas that's been around for a long time, I suggest you follow our hip pain solution program, because this gets to the numerous root causes and addresses all of the dysfunctions and imbalances that can lead to pain in the hip flexors and the psoas and other areas. So check that out at the link right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.